Every time I try to record down here, I'm foiled by wind, but I'm gonna give it one more try. Today I'm at Heritage Park in Colerain Township, Ohio. And today, right now, this site is just covered with baseball diamonds and a frisbee golf course. And there's a walking trail that goes around the baseball diamonds. And there's no mention whatsoever, there's no sign whatsoever that thousands of years ago people lived here. Probably up to a couple thousand years ago at least, the Adena and Hopewell people lived in this area. We know for sure because mounds were found in this area. If you can look over my shoulder there, that's an area they called Bowling Green. Now when they were surveying this area, on top of Bowling Green they found a couple of mounds. And they also found a lot of remnants of village sites. They found pottery, axe heads, projectile points, and things like that. So people had villages along this area, along this river. We're right next to the Great Miami River, just east of the Great Miami River on the bank. And there were prehistoric villages along these hills here and also down here on the river. There were two mounds found on top of Bowling Green there, and there were a lot of charred remains found on the tops of these mounds, and they figure that these mounds were probably used as signaling stations of some sort. Like maybe people built signal fires on top of these mounds. Why they would build signal fires on top of the mounds is anybody's guess, you know. It could be like, okay, we built 2 fires, that means we're running low on bear meat, you know, pick up some bear meat while you're out hunting and that'll be cool. Or if there's one, hey, we're running low on fish, somebody pick up some fish on your way home, okay? Something like that. Or maybe two fires meant there was a religious ceremony going on. Or one fire meant there was a feast. Who knows? You know, we can only guess about these people who lived here thousands of years ago. But also found here was a 95-acre walled enclosure that's known as the Colerain Work. I'll call it the Colerain Earthwork. But it was surveyed by Squire and Davis and other surveyors who published a book called Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley in 1848. One of the surveyors described this area in this way. This is his the exact quotes from the book. It says the earthwork encloses an area of 95 acres. The walls have an average height of 9 feet and have an exterior ditch of proportionate dimensions. The terrace upon which the work is located is 35 feet above the usual stage of the water in the river. The outwork possesses all the features of a bastion and perhaps was designed as such. And they also found a lot of, quote, dwarfed and sickly maize and wheat in the area. So this is a 95-acre enclosure. They said it was a monumental work. It was located right here. It also went from here north. When they surveyed and did land mapping of this area before they opened the park, they found remnants of the walls enclosing this earthwork. So they know it was right here. And in addition to the information that was gathered by Squire and Davis and other surveyors back then. But you can only conjecture what it looked like. I imagine it was a high plateau of earth, maybe 35 feet high. It was either surrounded by a wall or topped by a wall. And these walls, they were described as earth walls. They could have been covered with clay, lined with clay and rocks, as some of the mounds were that were built by these people. So it's probably a very solid, substantial wall that surrounded this area. 95 acres, you can imagine that's a big area. So there are other mounds in this area too. When they built mounds and villages, they were always along the riverbanks. And this Great Miami River was like any other large rivers in this area. It was used for traffic. It was much easier to go up and down the rivers than it was to, beat your way through the forest. And since this is a wall enclosure, you have to wonder why they had walled enclosures. We can only guess. We don't really know. There's another big earth enclosure, a walled enclosure called Miami Fort. It's located downriver a ways in Shawnee Lookout State Park. I'll do a video of that later on. But these were all called forts because that's what they guessed they were. Forts of some kind, built for protection. But protection from what? From other tribes, other prehistoric tribes. And why were there signal fires built on top of the mountain? Or not mountain, the hill, on top of Bowling Green and other areas. Why did they have signal fires? Why did they need to build these places on high overlooks? My guess as to why they had walled enclosures is to provide some protection from wild animals. When you think about it, there were bears, wolves, other dangerous animals, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to surround your village with a high wall. You could go to sleep at night, not have to worry about being attacked by wild animals, and as well as having some protection from attacking neighbors. We don't know. Really don't know much about these people. But I'll take a look around and I'll show you this area. It's just being used as a park now. It's on a floodplain. I talked to a woman one time who used to own this land. She says it's a floodplain. It definitely floods when the river gets up. But we don't know for sure if these were the Adena people or Hopewell people that built these enclosures, these earthworks, these mounds, or if they were even older than that. We know they're at least a couple thousand years old, but who knows? I mean, most of them are gone now. They were plowed under by farmers, a lot of them, and just disappeared. Like this one just disappeared. The area here is not what it used to be. I mean, it was, there's been a lot of water erosion. The course of the river has changed over the years. It's not the exact area, but right here, where I'm standing, was the site of Colerain Earthwork, which was visible as recently as 1848. Now supposedly in 1848, down here at the corner of East Miami River Road and Dunlap Road, there was another mound. It's on private property, but it was, I think it was believed to be about 10 feet tall. It's probably long gone, but I'll just record this area for you. Actually, along here was probably covered with settlements and mounds. I'm not sure where this mound would have been. It says it's across the road from the park at this intersection on private land, so somewhere right along here. It's the intersection of Dunlap and East Miami River Road. East Miami River Road, excuse me. And there's a creek leading down to the Great Miami River. This is a water trowel built along Colerain Pike back in the early days. That was built for mostly for people who are bringing their horses up the hill, so the horses could stop and have a little drink of water. Now this metal part, the trowel itself, right here, was built from a roller. These rollers were pulled behind horses and used to level out the road. One of these rollers was cut in half and made into this water trowel here. Let me try to read the inscription. Stranger and traveler, yet hath no other claim, drink freely and bestow. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'm reading the wrong way. Stranger and traveler, drink freely and bestow a kindly thought on him who bade this fountain flow. Yet hath no other claim than as the minister of blessing. In God's name, drink and in peace go. This is built by Giles Richards. Well, Giles, I can't drink freely because the trowel is frozen. Sorry, buddy. Thanks for building the trowel, though. Here's Colerain. Old Colerain in Colerain Township. Leads up the hill there to Dunlap, little village of Dunlap, and it goes the other way down to the village of Colerain, built where old Fort Colerain was.